Hello everyone, I'm back with another makeup tutorial. So my previous one was all about makeup for work, very soft and light and matte, and this tutorial is the polar opposite to some extent, but it's still very wearable and pretty. It's essentially an opulent ballerina makeup look inspired by the Nutcracker. So for starters, I'm just going to go ahead and apply my favorite primer, which is the Hourglass. It's the only one I've ever liked, and I do find that it keeps my makeup smooth and helps to make everything just that much easier to blend. Secondly, I go in with my Guerlain concealer. This is their Anti-Cerne or Multi-Perfecting Concealer in English. I really love how pigmented this concealer is. You can see I don't need very much of it at all in order to conceal any darkness and especially veininess under my eyes. And it's just really easy to blend. It doesn't slip or slide too much. It's not one of those really tacky ones. And I've just been really enjoying using it both for daytime and evening. I think it's the perfect amount of medium coverage. And I do prefer to go ahead and pat it in with my fingers, just kind of gently pressing the product into my skin, especially around the redness that's present around my nose. And then I go ahead and apply a thin layer of my favorite BB cream / foundation. Yes, I do wear this in the evening as well. I really don't like a cakey face of makeup, even when it comes to nighttime or for special occasions. What I'll do is I'll just apply a little bit more, and instead of rubbing it in with my fingers, I blend it in with a damp beauty blender, which gives a more full coverage look because you're able to kind of layer the product a little bit more, and that gives me medium to full coverage, which is plenty for my taste. The latest thing that I switched around in my makeup, which you'll have seen from my previous tutorial, is that I've switched my summer mattifying powder for the Hourglass Luminous Light Powder, and I'm obsessed with the effect that it creates. It's so candlelit and pretty. And then I just apply a tiny bit of bronzer. I'm using my new NARS Laguna that I purchased in my Sephora haul. I've been really enjoying having this in my collection again, but you can see I don't apply a lot of it, just a little bit to warm up my skin tone, a little bit around the temples and cheekbones. The blush that I'm using is from Tom Ford. It's a petal pink called Frantic Pink, and although it certainly is a little bit pricey, I'm really loving it because I'm a lazy blender and it's absolutely effortless. You just can go ahead and put a little bit on and it blends itself. On the cheekbones, I'm wearing Bobbi Brown's a new highlighter, which isn't frosty at all. It's really subtle and finely milled, and it really makes me think of light reflecting off of snow, that really bright kind of lit from within look, definitely with more of a cool tone. I'm also wearing my new Laura Mercier shadow stick in the color Amethyst. I really love this product as well. I'm so happy with everything that I've gotten recently. It's really effortless, but it really adds a punchiness to any shadow that you layer on top and really helps it to stick as well and last all evening. And then I'm using my new Naked 3 palette. Really been enjoying this. It does remind me a lot of the original Naked palette, but it's certainly a lot warmer and more rose gold in tone. So the first color I'm going in with is Liar, and what I'm doing with it is I'm applying it everywhere that I applied the Laura Mercier shadow stick, so it sticks really well, and the shadow stick darkens it a little bit and also helps it to be even more reflective and shimmery. Then what I do after that is I go ahead and blend Limit, which is the lightest blending shade. It's a matte mauve nude, and I go ahead and blend that all over the crease. I apply quite a lot of it all the way up almost to the brow bone, and what that does is it gives a base for every other shadow to blend into. It really lowers the amount of blending that you'll have to do towards the end of the tutorial in order to get all the smokiness to look more natural. What I do after that is I go ahead and use the lightest shades around the inner eye corner and brow bone, so those are Strange and Dust. And then I go ahead and use Buzz and Trick, which are the glittery ones, but they're pretty finely milled, and I found that they don't have a lot of fallout, which is excellent. And I go ahead and pat that just around the center of my eye. Give my eyelashes a good curl, and then it's time to move on to my favorite part, the eyeliner. This is part of my everyday look, but because this is an evening look, I do go ahead and create a thicker line, which doesn't require me to pull at my eyelid like I do pretty much every other day, because I want the line to be thicker and more dramatic. What I do at the end is I pack on a little bit of the darkest shade, which is called Black Heart. It's a shimmery aubergine black, and I just soften the line a little bit with that. It really allows the whole look to be kind of soft and feminine instead of being overly harsh. And then I apply my mascara. You can see me blinking into the wand again. It's apparently my signature move. And I just go ahead and apply one coat of that, and then I do my eyebrows while it dries. So I'm using my Tom Ford eye pencil again. I use this every single day, but I am doing a bit more of a dramatic brow perhaps, and then I go ahead and blend it out because I don't want it to look too harsh. And what I love about this particular pencil is the dry texture and also the really stiff wand at the end. Thereafter, I go ahead and apply a little bit of brow gel, which is my Benefit one in the old packaging, and then it's time for some falsies. So this really takes a look to the next level. If it's for a special occasion, I do think it makes a big difference. I go ahead and cut a pair of Kiss lashes in two. I really like the new ones that they've been creating. I find them really natural looking and easy to apply. And I apply them at the outer eye corners. You can see it's about a half lash type of effect, a little more than that because they're a generous strip, and I just go ahead and push them into my lash line to try and get them to be as secure and snug against the lash line as possible. From my new Bite lip kit, I'm using my primer, which really helps to go ahead and moisturize my other pathetically dry lips around this time of the year. It makes it really hard to create a statement lip look if you have really flaky lips, so the primer helps to smooth everything out. And then I go ahead and apply a bright lipstick that I'm actually going to use as a stain. So this is the new Beetroot color from Bite, which is from the same kit as the primer. It's their holiday kit, which is one of my favorite kind of gifts and picks for myself as well every holiday season. And you can see I pat it on with my fingers. I prefer the look that that creates over a brush. I think it makes my lips look much fuller, and I go ahead and blot off any excess so that it creates a stain that will last all night. The very last step is to go ahead and just pinprick the liner in between my lashes where there might be a little bit of extra glue, just to cover any shine from that. And then I apply one last coat of mascara to blend the Kiss lashes with my own, and we are done. So this look takes a little bit longer certainly than my usual makeup look, but for an evening look it's still pretty straightforward. And once I'd finished applying it, I realized that I hadn't been the only one primping all along, but instead had a companion. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I had a lot of fun creating it for you. It is the look that I wore in my holiday lookbook as well, if you'd like to see some more styled shots of what it looks like. And stay tuned for my next installments on holiday style.